Jacob. I have brought you here because I have considered all of you candidates to take over my position as god leader of a magical moving island. I thought of a different way of testing you all. Instead of interfering with every aspect of your lives and making you go through 2 plane crashes and endless suffering, I'll just try asking you guys some questions and see how that goes. Kate, let's begin with you. You're in a desert, walking along the sand, when all of a sudden you look down and you see a tortoise.
I track the tortoise.
You track the tortoise.
Yes, my father taught me at a young age, and now I'm one of the best trackers on the planet. I can track any tortoise across any desert.
I follow Kate.
Now, Jack, I'm going to ask you a question in a second.
I don't need you to follow me, Jack.
We don't know what's out there, Kate. I'm coming.
But what about all of the sick people? Shouldn't the only doctor not risk his life for every single side mission?
Kate, we're not going to get any answers from this tortoise. There are sick people in this desert that need our help. We have to go back, Kate.
How do you expect me to trust you, Jack?
I don't know how long we're going to be in this desert, Kate. But if this tortoise is our only shot to survive, we don't have a choice, Kate.
Let the tortoise go, Jack.
Okay, this is saving me so much time. Cross off, cross off. Okay, Juliet, let's ask you a few questions. You're watching television. Suddenly, you realize there's a wasp crawling on your arm.
I stare forward with an understanding and menacing agenda.
Okay, but it's a wasp?
I tilt my head slightly and speak in a quiet whisper.
To who?
Who do you think, Jacob?
Actually, I'm not even sure you're on my list here.
Dude. Doctor guy seems to have some dynamite.
This is the only way, Hurley. The questions are going to keep coming and coming unless we do something about this. If we don't answer together, we're gonna die alone.
That phrase did not make any sense. You should not be leading anything. You know, if I actually played out my original idea of testing you guys, he would almost blow up the island like 4 times. Like, actually blow up an island. That's really hard to do. And I'm just gonna take that away from you. Hugo?
Yeah?
It's your birthday. Someone gives you a calfskin wallet. How do you react?
Thanks, I guess.
See how easy that is? Hugo, do you want to run a magical island full of hippie weird shit?
What's the alternative?
You win the lottery. I ruin your life, and I make you do it anyway. Remember, you always have a choice.
I took this baby.
I'm on a submarine now.
I'm building an army.
I guess, dude.
Great. I'm going to have a charismatic psychopath be your right-hand man. I am so good at this. Cursed by the old gods in Bethany, we are 5 immortals doomed to walk the earth until we complete our 1,001 tasks. After a century of having our memories sticked around, ready to complete our destiny and die. We are, for now, the Immortals. This is episode 76.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Let's just go around the clock real fast. Just do a quick leg check. Adam, you got both your legs?
2 of them.
Pedro.
2.
Lee.
2 legs.
Sarah.
3.
What?
3.
Where's the other leg?
I guess it's my arm.
Worried. And of course, I still have none because a cockroach ate them 2 episodes ago.
Get over it, dude.
I
Oh, you know, no,
Expect us
wait.
to feel bad?
I don't care.
It's been a difficult week because I don't want to be like an ableist or anything.
Austin.
I do wish you guys would have brought me a wheelchair or crutches. I've just been lying here for a week, and it's been a rough week. I'm not gonna lie.
Austin.
It's been a rough.
Whatever happened. We're reviewing Lost this week, guys.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. We are reviewing that TV show about a guy who couldn't walks for a whole series. All right.
Not the whole series.
Yeah, I mean, he walks for a good majority of the series.
Okay.
Fair.
More than he would have if he didn't go to a magical island.
Just go to a magical island then, dude.
This is our whole
I've been
episode.
stuck. Never mind. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Did you know that 76 is a really patriotic number because of 1776?
Wouldn't
Very true.
1776 be the patriarch number?
I mean, that's also a patriotic number.
I feel like that would be a more patriotic
It
number.
would be, but this is a moderately patriotic
Why
number.
is it 17 a patriotic number?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of
That's a fair
general.
point.
We only ever had one of those, but there's a 76 every 100 years or so.
And then we celebrate a patriotic thing.
Yeah.
It's a patriotic number. Just go with it.
Okay.
We've had 17 100 times because of the 1700s. There were 100 of them, and then every time there's an
But most of them,
1817 or
there was no
1917.
America.
Yeah, for all the ones until 1776, it was actually kind of bad.
There were 3 when there were America. 1817, 1917, 2017.
Yeah, but that's not
But then
fun.
that's not how that works.
1777,
There's only-
1778, 1779, 1780,
Yeah.
1781.
Those
This
were
is how
all
I feel
fine.
every single time we talk about numbers is just me counting.
It's the best.
Anywho, we're the Immortals. Every week we review one of the 1001 books, albums, food, songs, children's books, and TV shows that you must consume before you die. Last week we had some zany adventures, but basically we're here to try to stop Bethany. We're in the old gods realm, and last week we were nostalgically assigned a number, and the number was 681. And if you go to all those published books, like 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die, these are the entries that we're going to review this week. The 681st movie is Blade Runner.
The album is I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got by Sinead O'Connor.
The food is fresh green peppercorn.
The song is Just Like Heaven by The Cure.
The children's book is Clockwork by Philip Pullman.
And the TV show, as we already mentioned, is Lost. But real fast, I just want to do a really quick old business new hinges. I missed the album a few weeks ago, and since I've just been lying here on the floor for a week, I managed to finish a 15-minute album. It was called Group Sex. It was fine. It was really short songs, so it was just kind of like punk in 2-minute bits, and it was fine. Nothing memorable because that didn't last that long. 3.5 hinges. Lee, what do you think about that?
That's a fair assessment of the album, I feel.
If you want the longer review, go back a few weeks and listen to Lee review that. But there we go. But now it is time for Blade Runner.
It's too bad she won't live. But then again, who does?
This is episode 76, and I believe, if I'm correct now, this is only the 3rd time we have repeated a director. We have repeated Nicholas Ray with Rebel Without a Cause, and what's that great film with James Mason?
That awful one.
The terrible one.
Oh, yeah.
We did not like that one.
We repeated Louis Manuel with Tristana and The Discreet Charm of Bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
And now we are repeating Ridley Scott in just 6 episodes.
It's true.
Because he directed Alien, and then he made more sci-fi history by directing Blade Runner. This is based off the Philip K. Dick novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? It is the story of Rick Deckard, who is a bounty hunter-like man who is there to try to track down replicants, which are the most advanced androids out there, and trying to get them before they do some stuff. But wait, you see a replicant? I don't know. Maybe the internet has some ideas. But this is Blade Runner. There are, I believe, 6 different versions of this. I have now seen the theatrical cut, I have seen the director's cut, and this week I watched the final cut. Lee, you're going to go first this time.
Okay. What do you want me to talk about?
Lee,
Blade Runner.
Okay, well, yeah.
so we're fans of the sci-fi genre, and there are a few films that really seem to be like amongst the most beloved by critics and fans, and Blade Runner is up there. Do you think that is worthy to be in the same echelon as Alien or Star Wars?
I have to say, yeah. I saw this movie for the first time probably 8 years ago. So I had already found the sci-fi flavor that I really liked. So this was a whole brand new thing for me. I didn't know what to expect. And the first time I saw it, I didn't like it. I believe I saw the final cut the first time. I believe. I don't know for sure.
I think the final cut is relatively new.
2007, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's probably the one that I saw. And I saw it again a few years later for a class in college. We had to write a paper comparing it to Frankenstein, which was a lot of fun. Those two things are very easily comparable. And then watching it, like, it made me appreciate it more. And then watching it again over the weekend, like, I was like, okay, yeah, I actually like this movie now. There's a lot to it, and there's a lot of really cool, neat things about it. So I think based on the fact that it's based on a sci-fi story already, it has that going for it. It does have that kind of dystopian future that a lot of sci-fi usually has, and it has a very interesting style, like just visually. I think those three things are the main reasons why it should definitely be considered a great sci-fi film.
Let's talk about the style first, because it is actually considered one of the most definitive Los Angeles movies.
Yeah.
Which is funny because it's set in the far future with flying cars and robots and such. But it, you talk about wanting a sci-fi story to have a lived-in feel. Is this movie actually too lived in? Because I'm watching this movie now for third, fourth time. Going this is the messiest world in the ever. Oh my god, there's always junk everywhere. And I do love how none of the ships feel brand new. This isn't an Apple product movie. But I was actually almost distracted by the style this time through. Because, it's a style where I don't want to live in that world. And this time I lost the curiosity to further examine it. Was that just me? Or
I don't think this is a movie that you're really supposed to want to go explore the world. I think this is a movie where you're supposed to feel alienated, you're supposed to feel singled out and alone and not knowing what's going on. So I think the setting really helps that feel that you're supposed to have.
Well, all the better stuff is off-world. Isn't there a scene where people are talking about a better life and they haven't been able to get off of Earth? Earth has been basically used very much so.
This is before they get on the spaceships in WALL-E.
Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense. All right.
This is actually a prequel to WALL-E, you guys.
That makes
Did you not know that?
That makes a lot of sense to me.
Most movies are.
Most movies are a prequel to WALL-E.
Yeah.
So it's funny that your first critique, Austin, is aesthetic, because we watched most of the movie together, and I know that neither of us are huge fans. And so just keep dancing around the point. I'm gonna dive in a little. I want to like Blade Runner. I recognize its place in the canon. The scenes that are good, I mean, the Tears and Rain scene is
so good.
Fucking amazing.
That is perfect.
It's a perfect scene. I have always enjoyed the Voight Kamp scenes. I think they're really cool. This movie does not have characters, and it bugs me. I never, although I think Harrison Ford is very good in the role, I was never able, it is so stylized that I was never able to connect with anybody in the world. Something I like about Ridley Scott movies is that he doesn't over-explain his worlds. He gives you just the amount of information that you need to know what's going on. In Alien, they're on a ship. It has this purpose. It is generally going this place. Cyborgs exist and are filled with creepy milky stuff, right? And he doesn't bother to go, he doesn't spend his time with long exposition scenes. But here, I feel like he wants to make a point about human existence. And he does, but I think it would have been stronger if either I had more background and I sort of knew what the fuck was going on, which I feel like at any point I don't really know, what the stakes are, who these players are, how they know each other, it's sort of just leading from one scene to another scene to another scene as we encounter sort of strange people in the world. And I just am never able, when I watch it, I think I've seen it 3 times now, I never grasp onto it. And where, like, Sigourney Weaver in the center of Alien, you've got this central character to follow, Deckard is not, I don't care about Deckard enough, I think, is a lot of my problem. And I think in some ways it's this desire to make the world so stylized and so sort of foreign, even, that I lose a connection to it. Yeah.
See, with me, it's almost the opposite, because this definitely falls into the neo-noir category.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Watching it in that setting, to me, like, all of those points about no real backstory, not too much development of the characters outside of what's happening in the film, that seems just in line with other noir films in the past. Something happens, you have a guy, he doesn't really tell you much about himself, he follows some ragtag amount of clues and ends up in places, sometimes randomly, sometimes sheer blind luck, sometimes, out of actual good detective work. But he's just there, and you just sort of follow him along for the ride, and he doesn't even know what's going on. And, I don't know, to me, that, where other noir films placed that in a world that already exists and that we recognize, he almost built a world that feels exclusively where someone like Decker or the noir detectives of the past would live, would feel just fine, comfortable, that sort of thing. So I actually, even though I couldn't internalize them too much because there wasn't that much depth to them, it didn't detract from the movie and how much I believed the characters. If that makes sense. But yeah, I really like the film. I don't love it with all my heart and soul, but it is a great sit down to watch film. I'm totally cool with it.
I've seen this, I think, about 3 times as well. I don't know which cuts I've seen, but I saw the final cut this time. And I think I just can't get past how icky it makes me feel. So I just can't feel part of this world at all. And part of it is the dissonance in the colors, I think. That the backgrounds are bleak and gross, but then like clothing and hairstyle and the neon lights is super bright, and I don't know, I just can't get into this world, and I don't like Deckard as a person at all.
So I'm in mixed feelings about Deckard, because this time through, the one thing that did stand out for me is I actually really like Harrison Ford in that. There are a lot of complaints that Harrison Ford plays the same role over and over again, but luckily that role is like
great.
Han Solo and Indiana Jones, like it's
whatever.
We're okay with it. This one does not feel like those, and that to me felt very nice. Of course, as Pedro's describing the movie, I realize he's just being Bogart, but he's being a good Bogart.
Yeah, because
it's very easy to overdo Bogart. I think he actually just kind of naturally did Bogart, and that worked in a way. I'm halfway through the novel because, once again, you guys couldn't find me a chair, but you guys found me the book, so thanks for throwing that my way on the floor.
Sorry, I've looked for a chair.
I don't.
That's so sad.
But so I'm happy with the book, and I don't like the book. But Deckard is interesting because Deckard is a main character, so you get a lot of being in his head a little bit more, and some parts are terrible. But there is something that made me like Deckard a little bit more, is because I found his drive a little bit better. Because when they talk this about more in the book. By the way, the book is filled with 1,000 things, 5 of which are in the movie. There is the first chapter is about Deckard and his wife having marriage problems, and they argue about what emotions to type into their emotion machines to feel that day, because there are different emotions you can program for the day. It is filled there are 20 million sci-fi ideas, and Ridley Scott was very wise to take 3.
Is he straight up a replicant in the book? Do they make this?
Well, I'm halfway through, and I would, from this point, I would say no, because the drive I was referring to was that when he gets to do the interview with the rich guy's secretary,
Rachel.
Rachel. And he deduces that she is a replicant. In the books, he's very kind of happy to get it right. There's actually a lot more in the book about like trying to convince him he's wrong, which is works a little bit better. But it was because there was the replicants that are out there. There's called androids in the book. Are the newest thing, and they're the newest thing where they're actually really sure that the test won't work on them, and so it's kind of up to a more seniored Blade Runner to be able to kind of use the test and find them. And he just so he wanted to be able to capture the latest model. Like he wanted to kind of prove he was the best by getting I got the blah 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 6.
Well, because they had that in the book too, or in the film too, but he didn't actually need to prove himself. He only went there to investigate. They're like, oh, this is the new top of the line model, whatever. They got one over at headquarters, and then it worked out.
So I'm at that point in the book where that is something that is intriguing him to kind of go further in the plot besides just another bounty job.
Yeah.
Because in the movie, it's such a his office is just a piece of shit, and it's so hard to tell
that's his house.
What when he comes in and gets the job, the people there. I'm losing track of.
Oh, was that Deckard's office? I thought Deckard just works at home.
I mean, other people work there. I could be wrong. I could lose track.
All right.
But he takes the job okay, it's a job take. But we're led to believe now in the story that these guys are big bad terrorist motherfuckers threat to security. But it looks like he's getting the same job as De Niro in Midnight Run. Is this a government job? I don't how big is this? It's kind of it's a little bit lost. So I don't know, I always felt a bit confused on. Did you just? No.
That's the name of the show.
No, it's just like heaven. It's fine. I don't know. It's always hard to figure out exactly the through line. I think the final cut actually made it more confusing because I remember seeing the director's cut in theaters and found it a lot clearer and more noirish, I guess.
I liked the general unease, though, that I felt in the film. It wasn't enough to straight up make me not like it, but I like that it's just very, it gets under your skin and just sticks with you the whole time. It doesn't really get better, and you're just like, then the final scene is in the rain and things are breaking, but it fits so well. I like it. Love it.
I feel like this is a movie that, while it might not be the best movie, quote unquote, it's a fantastic movie to sit down and talk about. And that's one thing I really enjoy about it.
And I guess I find myself very frustrated with myself every time I see Blade Runner, because two of my good friends, this is their favorite movie of all time. It means the world to them. It's very, very important to them. And it's that feeling of I almost feel bad rating it because clearly I don't get it. There's something that I'm missing about Blade Runner that that's never really connected for me. And I think maybe it's partially because, I think the themes tap into, I really like sort of the central themes of it. And I'm really interested in them. And I feel like all I want to do is watch the Tears and Rain scene or the Boing contest to talk about those ideas, and the movie is a lot more wandering around and talking to weird looking things, and there's just and so I don't know, I don't get enough content from the movie, but I admit I feel I really do feel bad that I don't get this as much as I should, but I genuinely do not enjoy watching this movie. I actually kind of hate it. It took me 2 sittings. It took me 2 sittings the last time I watched it, too. I don't like it, and I feel like a bad person.
We all know that Ridley Scott's best films are Prometheus and Matchstick Men. This is universally known. It's okay, guys.
Sure.
I love those films. So I guess we've talked about the big elephant in the room, which is... I want to reword it a different way. Is the film richer if Deckard is a replicant?
I'm going to say no. Because personally, I don't believe he is. And if he is, then a lot of the fight scenes, a lot of just everything is really hard to believe.
I think yes. And I think I like it. I like the idea of Deckard being a replicant because it does bring up so many more philosophical questions.
Yeah.
And that's what I really enjoy about it. And I'm interested because there's, like, Ridley Scott's kind of flip-flopped on this opinion in the past on whether or not Deckard is a replicant. So it'll be interesting to see how that's resolved in the sequel.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Which I forgot what to trailer for. I apologize.
I watched it.
Is Deckard in the sequel?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
They're gonna kill him off, guys.
Played by Harrison Ford?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. That's pretty
Definitely gonna
interesting.
kill
No,
him
yeah.
off.
This is important. If Deckard dies in this movie, he will definitely die as Indiana Jones.
Yep.
Oh,
He
for
is,
sure.
He is going through all his famous characters.
It's a line in his contract now.
It's going to be a short film where Timothy the Fugitive, quick suicide, and that's it.
I want to see Air Force One too.
Air Force One
Man,
immediately crashes the plane.
This is a great game. We can keep going.
But anywho, I've seen a few screenshots of the trailer on Twitter because it's looks beautiful.
I did watch the trailer earlier today with my roommate who Blade Runner is one of his favorite movies, so we watched it, and it gave me all the right nostalgia feels, even though it's a movie I saw about 8 years ago for the first time. I don't have a whole lot of emotions or memories tied to it, but it hits a lot of really great beats in the trailer. It shows a lot of how the already futuristic LA has become more futuristic, and the soundtrack is amazing. So it made me excited to see it.
Do we know what it's about yet?
Ryan Gosling needs to find replicants and goes to find Deckard. That's what I got from the trailer. Oh, and Jared Leto is weird and creepy. But that's per usual.
It's made by, how do you say his name? Denis Villeneuve? I can't. The guy, he made Arrival.
Oh,
Yeah.
He made Prisoners and a few other films I didn't like. But the thing is about his films, he keeps working with Roger Deakins, who's the best cinematographer alive. So I bet it's going to look really pretty. I bet I'm going to see it because it'll look really pretty.
Wait, so Ridley Scott isn't doing this one?
No.
He's producing it,
That's good enough.
or is executive producing it, or something like that.
Well, he has a new Alien film next week. So
Yeah.
Right. He's got shit to
pick which
do.
one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, I love they do, like, Ridley Scott doesn't explain too much except for the 2 prequels he made about Alien.
He really cares about Alien,
That
guys.
explains everything.
Wait.
Yeah, any kind of final thoughts, Adam?
Yeah, I kind of echo Sarah. This doesn't really do anything for me.
I don't like
I don't
Blade
like
Runner.
watching it.
Yeah. But, like, I know I'm in the minority. And,
Yeah.
like, but I think it's a bigger minority than maybe it used to be, now that, like, our negativity is spreading. It was a couple weeks ago, because we had to go to some midnight films in the Music Box. And we're all set to go see Rocky IV. Which, guess what, guys? Holds up even worse than you think.
Yes.
This is, of course, a dream I had, wishing that I was back in Chicago. I have very elaborate dreams while I'm here in the Old Gods realm.
Sure.
But
Oh yeah, that's where we're at.
yes, but this friend, he is really excited about going to go see Blade Runner, and all of us were kind of like, maybe we were more excited to go see Rocky IV at midnight than to go see Blade Runner on film, which is weird.
That is weird.
That's very disappointing, too.
Rocky IV is crazy. That's not on the list.
No, nor should it be.
Well,
Shall
find out episode 100, see if it is.
shall we henge Blade Runner, kids?
Sure. Blade Runner. 2 hinges.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Yeah, not-
Damn.
I really...
That's fair.
I liked it one viewing, and that was on film at the Music Box. So
Damn.
Personally,
that's
I
a
think
no,
that's-
though.
that I was like in the 3 range. I'm like, this, like, it looks super pretty on a big screen. Then, like, I ignored all the plot issues I have.
I do think this is one of the films where a lot of people who say it's their favorite say it just to say that.
I can see
fine.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've definitely said before that I liked Blade Runner, and I didn't.
see,
You lied.
I lied to people that I like.
Because you wanted to be cool?
I wanted.
You were
yeah,
talking to Daryl Hannah.
I've made it. I'm a good friend.
Well, so I think I don't enjoy it, but I guess I think it's deserving of higher than a 2 because it's really low to me.
It's a personal thing.
So I'll give it a 2.7. 2. No, come on, I know myself. I'll give Blade Runner a just below a 3, 2.9, because I do not enjoy watching it, but, like, it is an important piece of the canon. You should see it if you haven't seen it.
I can still say that and still give it a 2.
That's an F+. That's a pass.
There's no F pluses. Right?
No, that's not a thing. Somebody else go.
I'll give it... See, I actually like the film. Just enough. 4.25.
I'll say 2.6.
I'm gonna go with Pedro here, 4.25.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Is this the only film where, like, Lee is, like, really high above the rest?
I think so. Like, that 2 right out of the gates, Austin, like, it threw me.
Yeah.
Me too. I was thinking of just getting it a 4, but then I thought about it.
You know, I'm giving the 2 to the final cut.
Fair enough.
It may be my least favorite cut. That's why I watched last. There are too many of them. It's all Ridley Scott's fault because he makes a version for every one of his films.
Did we all watch the final cut? I watched the final cut.
I watched Final Cut this time.
I mean, and I figure, like, that's the one that he like, wants people to watch, so...
Today.
I know, right?
Although,
Then he
it's pretty
decided-
unanimous that the theatrical cut of Alien is better than the director's cut of Alien.
Well, yeah. Sometimes
But-
directors are dumb.
The director's cut of Aliens is better than the theatrical cut. You'll see more about Ripley's dead daughter. Anyway,
Woo.
now it's time for the album segment.
Yeah, the album this week is I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got by Sinead O'Connor.
I can eat my dinner in a fancy restaurant, but nothing, I said nothing can take away this blues, 'cause nothing compares to you.
Rightly?
This was her second album. It came out in 1990, and you probably know it because it's famous for having Nothing Compares to You being its hit single.
I didn't recognize that song.
What?
I like the album.
Like, you didn't recognize Nothing Compares to You?
Nope.
Like, it won so many awards.
Did it win the
Like-
Oscar?
It won a Grammy.
No, I don't know what those are.
The album itself won Record of the Year. She won Best Female Pop Vocal Performance and Best Music Video short form for Nothing Compares to You.
I recognize the Grammys, like the audiobook category. I keep an eye on that one. I don't know who won the Grammys last year. This year?
Well,
Last year?
no,
Not
the Grammys have turned
Is that a
into
joke?
a shit show, so
Okay.
that's fine. But it does have a really fantastic music video. Nothing Compares to You was originally written by Prince and recorded by Prince, and his version is perfectly fine. It's Prince, so it's going to be good. I have heard both versions, and I love Sinead O'Connor's version better. I feel like it gets more of the emotion out of it than Prince does. The music video is also great because it's just like 4 minutes of just a close-up of her face as she's singing, and there's like this single tear rolling down her cheek at the end of it. Like, it's gorgeous. It's a perfectly minimalistic music video and beautiful, and I love it.
I had definitely like heard the name Sinead O'Connor. Sinead, how do you say it?
Sinead.
Sinead.
And I was really impressed by the very first song on the album. It is perhaps the longest song on the album. Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, it is. And it's called Feel So Different. And it was like so powerful and emotional and still a little bit strange that like I was in it for the whole album basically because of that song. And I liked how, unlike so many others we covered, it wasn't just like that song in different forms. There's a lot of variety to it. And I liked it. It was sometimes really catchy and then more somber. It was great. I really liked this album.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I have never listened to anything that wasn't a single from Sinead O'Connor, so I was really interested to dig deeper. And I was hooked by the first song as well. It was really great. It was different and like, but it wasn't monotonous throughout the whole song itself, and it was just really, really well done, I feel. I also, like, got pulled in with I Am Stretched on Your Grave, which is the second song on the album, and it's an English version of an Irish poem that's been translated and then set to music, which is wonderful and great and so good. So I don't know, I really enjoyed this album. It's neat and different and odd and not at all what I was expecting from Sinead O'Connor.
You know what was maybe the weirdest song, but it was still great? Black Boys on Mopeds.
So that song was written as a protest album or a protest song because in 1983 there was a black British man who was shot and killed inside of a police station.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of issues there, and this is a very not subtle protest song kind of revolving around that, although they never mention the victim's name specifically.
That's it. Did anyone else hear this album?
I really wanted to, but I did not have time. I do love Sinead O'Connor.
Don't worry, we have 900 more episodes.
Good.
Plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Until the uprising.
I was really excited to listen to this album, though, because, like, all I had really known about Sinead O'Connor was Nothing Compares to You, and then her tearing up the picture of the Pope on SNL. So, yeah, so getting outside of that and actually listening to her music and not, and, like, purposefully separating all of the controversy behind her, because she's a very interesting human being. I recommend her Wikipedia page, just scrolling through it, because she's a
lot.
Interesting one. Yeah. A lot.
Can I tell my possibly unrelated childhood Sinead O'Connor story? Is this the album that has the thing about the Irish potato famine on it?
I don't know.
She has a song about the Irish potato famine that is like a weird song that is very factual about the Irish potato famine that me and my best friend growing up were like obsessed with, and had an entire game involving like certain dance moves on my friend's mom's bed, which was a water bed, related to this Sinead O'Connor song about the Irish potato famine. And
it's called Famine.
And it's a weird song, and her mom always had a Sinead O'Connor CD in her CD player next to her bed, so we could always play this song, and that was my major exposure to Sinead O'Connor. And looking back, one of the stranger things I did as a child. I just thought everyone should know that.
Henges.
I'll give this a 4. It was pleasantly surprising.
I'm going to give it a 4.3.
Cool.
That is I Do Not Want What I Haven't Got by Sinead O'Connor. Check it out. Sarah, what are we eating this week?
Oh, I really wanted to get this. It's fresh green peppercorn, which is the fresh version of...
Green peppercorn?
Yeah, I know. But, peppercorns, we think of them as little black dried things. Well, they're actually berries, and you can eat them as when they're green and ripe before you dry them, and they become, very, very strongly concentrated pepper. And you can eat them, and apparently they're much milder and more interesting, and they sound super interesting, and I couldn't find them. That's my story.
Damn old God's realm.
Yeah, seriously.
Alright, now it's time for the song segment. Pedro, what listen this week?
We'll listen to Just Like Heaven by The Cure.
Show me how you do that trick. The one that makes me scream, she said. The one that makes me laugh, she said. Threw her arms around my neck.
Just Like Heaven is a song by The Cure that came out in 1987. That's it.
Jesus Christ.
No,
Perfect.
I believe it's also a Reese Witherspoon romantic comedy.
A really
Really?
weird one that ends up being about like
euthanasia, right?
no, yeah, about why you shouldn't take people off life support, and ends up having like a weird political message at the end, and it's bizarre. One of the strangest movie-going experiences of my life when we went to that movie as just like a chick flick thing, and we're like, what the fuck?
Was that Mark Ruffalo?
Yeah, it's Mark
Yes.
Ruffalo. It's perfectly pleasant until the last, 20 minutes.
I'm very amused of Mark Ruffalo pre-Hulk days because the guy is such an independent film actor, but every once in a while he needs to do, a very harmless, big-budget film.
Yeah, he needs money.
To pay for things. And that was, it used to be just kind of dumb romantic comedies. 13 going on 30.
God, that movie's terrible.
But now he's the Hulk, so that doesn't do any of that shit.
This song sounds better than all of that.
Yeah, it's true. This is a good song.
But I would say, as a transition, it is a departure for The Cure, I would say, because this is, I feel like The Cure is a lot more, is a lot darker than this song, overtly and lyrically. But this song, perhaps lyrically, is pretty dark, but it's, I don't know, it gets your foot tapping.
It's not that dark lyrically.
I don't know.
It seems pretty happy. Well, actually, I don't know. I never got to the very end of the lyrics. But it seemed pretty happy.
You just got bored halfway through and didn't...
No, remember, lyrics are a separate venture for Pedro.
I don't understand.
I was reading them along to the song.
so
It's even on the app. Then I just stopped reading.
I feel like though this is what we've come to expect from The Cure's poppy stuff, because Friday I'm in Love is also super duper poppy.
That was what this song reminded me of.
Yeah.
See, Wikipedia is saying this is gothic rock / post-punk.
It's so poppy though.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I
The
think.
Cure is gothic rock / post-punk.
Yeah.
Is this song that?
I didn't think so. See, I don't know anything about The Cure, really. Apart from maybe a handful of famous songs that I don't know the name of, and I don't even know they're by The Cure. But this song itself,
Did you find
actually...
a printer
Yeah.
that was hooked up to Wikipedia?
Yeah.
We couldn't find a chair?
You can
I'm
sit on the
sitting
printer.
in a chair right now, Austin.
Why don't you get on the damn chair then?
No legs to lie on the floor.
After the episode.
Oh my
I'm
God.
comfortable now.
We've
Anyway,
listened to The Cure. We did an album by The Cure on episode 19.
I don't know if I listened to them, did I?
Oh my god. What was that album?
Porn.
Pornography.
Oh yeah.
I'm not wrong.
That's what I think stopped putting albums on my phone. Because,
You never wanted to listen to it again?
well, that too, but also, it wasn't a subtle album cover. So, when I'm, walking down the street looking to see what the new song was called, felt a little bit suspicious.
Pedro, you did listen to the album. You gave it a 2.7.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I like this song a lot more, actually. It's oddly fun, and, well, like you said, poppy, bouncy. Funny enough, when the writer was writing this song, coming up with it, he said that what he had written reminded him a lot of Another Girl, Another Planet by The Only Ones.
Oh, I see that combination.
We reviewed that on episode, I think it was 25. So it was 50 episodes ago.
Wow.
Was it actually 25?
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but
No,
it's
wait,
one of the
why did
songs
you-
that actually...
Why did you know what episode it was?
Because I looked it up.
Oh.
I'm a professional.
Wait, you didn't
Bullshit.
finish listening to the song! It's a 3-minute song you didn't get to the end of the lyrics.
3.5.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I got to the end. I think the last lyric is just heaven.
You just assume it's the title.
Yeah, something like that.
They intended to just do that.
But, yeah, no, that's cool, though, because I like this song a lot. I remember Another Girl, Another Planet like it was yesterday. So, good job, The Cure.
Yeah, it's funny. I
Remember Another Girl on the Planet.
I don't know this song. I do know Another Girl, Another Planet very well, and the one we just mentioned, which is Friday I'm in Love, right? I know both of those songs very, very well, and I like them a lot. I also like this song. It's like some weird triangulation of the two of them. I'm going to listen to it more.
I thought the song was okay. It was a bit flatter for me, not as poppy.
Sure.
It's definitely not. I mean, it's like Friday I'm in Love. It's less poppy than that, I think. I mean, it's a little bit more of a subversion of pop. I mean, it's definitely meant to be, with its at the end of all the cadences where they sort of slide down. I mean, it's meant to be a little bit of a dissonant pop song, which I think is cool. If you're gonna be like a kind of dark band that goes pop, you should keep a little bit of you in it, and this does. I like this song a lot.
Yep.
It's just kind of sad that I don't feel like this song and Friday I'm in Love are The Cure. it's not like what they're about.
Yeah.
But it's their like two most popular songs.
Yeah.
And that's so it's like.
Does anyone know what they think of that? Like, because it's definitely true.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I was the Cure, then I would be like, are we wrong?
Well, the writer, it's on the section about covers. The writer's favorite cover of the song is by this American band. What is it? Alternative rock band. And
which band?
Wait,
Dinosaur Jr.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh,
And apparently,
that sounds familiar. Actually,
they've got a lot
I know Dinosaur
heavier distortion sound, louder, that sort of thing. He's like, he loved it so much, greatly influences how they play it live.
Oh, that's cool.
Which kind of sounds like they're just going back to their original sound
Right.
from what you guys are explaining. So that's interesting. He's like, oh, that's right. We could have made it sound more like us, but didn't. I don't know. But I'm fine with it because I enjoyed the song, and I think it's good for happy days and sad days.
I like the song.
I like it too. Shall we henge it?
Sure. Very solid 4.
I really like it. I may have a 4.4.
3.3.
3.8 because I feel sorry for the Cure.
Aw.
4.
Cool.
Everybody loves The Cure.
What that was?
I don't know what the tone was, but I liked it.
There's a Real Big Fish song that's recorded live where he starts out with that. And it's fun.
Sure.
If anyone's listened to it, they're going to love it.
Well,
Let us know if you loved that,
let's see
everybody.
if those numbers line up perfectly.
Yeah!
All right, now it's time for the children's book segment. That was Just Like Heaven by The Cure. This children's book is, what is it, Adam?
Clockwork by Philip Pullman.
Ooh, Philip Pullman. He's a name.
Yes, he is the Golden Compass Man, the Subtle Knife, and
The
the
Amber
third one,
Spyglass.
the Amber Spyglass. Yes.
Also, he wrote
The Sally Lockhart series,
the Ruby and the
is
Smoke, and the other one,
lesser
and the
known,
other one.
which are really good if you haven't read them, by the way.
Billy Piper stars in the TV movies with Matt Smith.
Weird.
He writes early and often, and Clockwork is a children's book. It's pretty short, almost a short story, I would say, and it was published in Talk, 1996. So Clockwork is about. It has 3 characters, essentially. The one is an apprentice of a clockmaker who has to make a statue that's going to show up at the clock tower the next day. And so he goes to a bar where the third main character, I would say, Francis, I believe.
Is this the storyteller?
The storyteller.
Yep.
He begins telling a story, which is essentially the crux of Clockwork, the story. It's like an old story about a prince who goes to a kind of shady clockmaker and asks him to, like, his son is dying, and so he wants the clockmaker to essentially make his son into a clockwork statue. And then the third character is the barmaid, who she comes in like more than halfway through the story, like her main role.
I'm saying there's that protagonist. There's one more main character.
The shady
The
clockmaker.
devil. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That sounds important.
Yeah. Well, he's more of a.
He's not a like. Because people keep telling the stories, it kind of jumps around a little bit. So we don't get like his point of view, but like he's around. He does important things.
Yeah, he's kind of a Rumpelstiltskin character. So the story is broken up into, there's the first part in the bar, and then the second part, which is like a third of the book, is the full story of what the storyteller is doing, and then the third is the results of both, essentially. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty finely plotted, I would say. It's for, I would say, 8+ years.
I think it's fair. Whatever age you would read Holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About like 4th and 5th grade.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's
because there's like some darkness to Holes, and this one's pretty dark. I would even call this like a gothic kind of.
But it won't,
You know-
for example, be a adventure series that by the end it becomes a staunchly atheist screed in which it explains that there is no God and anyone who believes in God is fundamentally deluded. Like, say, the Golden Compass series. I've always enjoyed his switcheroo on that one.
Yes. That is not the case in this 100-page story.
Well, hey, I mean...
Spoilers for the Golden Compass trilogy.
No, I
think we're covering part of later.
I feel like you should, know the themes going in.
Sure. But, so, I've read the Golden Compass trilogy, and I think I read one of the Sinead O'Connor books. This might be my favorite Philip Pullman book.
It was really good.
This was
enjoyed this
awesome.
so much.
I mean, it's not very long, but I read it in one sitting. Because, I did this before. I was waiting for, you guys to bring me anything. And I just kind of had the book out, and just kept going. It was awesome. And, I kept reading it as a ghost story without a ghost in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that bar is set up and the way these illustrations are so amazingly shadowy.
Yeah, it's like charcoal kind of illustrations.
That it just feels like, especially with the stories being told of darkness and despair. It's awesome, and it all ties together so well, and it's so creepy, and it's so such flawed characters. 'Cause the kid who's not ready for the thing tomorrow is because it's his fault. I mean,
he put it off.
He put it off.
Yeah,
and
he admits it.
And this guy who's telling this story, he's at writer's block. He just took this dream of his and kind of wrote it down. Doesn't know where it's going.
Oh, yeah, no, I love that. He started writing a story.
Yeah.
He's supposed to read it aloud at this bar, and he's
they're
like,
expecting him.
I'll just make up the ending.
Yeah.
It'll come.
And, it literally arrives.
Yeah.
I mean, one of his characters arrives.
Oh, yeah.
That one was awesome.
Yeah.
It is, it's so creepy, it's so good, and truly, doesn't waste a moment.
No.
It's not very long, and it's just such a good, you'll want to stay up and finish this, reading this to a kid, because, no one wants to stop where this is going. The momentum's so good. It's so creepy. I'm actually kind of shocked he never kind of returned to this world, because it's awesome.
Yeah.
I really like
think
this.
I think the tone is what really sets it apart, like you said. And I broke it up stupidly reading this, and so once I finished it, I actually started reading it again, and
I should have.
It tied in a lot better, because the second story is so enthralling that I kind of forgot where we left off the first.
And that never works for me. Whenever people start a story without a story, I'm always you kill the momentum. Yeah. This one worked because, it's called Clockwork, and it has... read the first sentence, because they repeat the sentence structure in the beginning of the prologue and the beginning of the actual book. But, they have a great use of wordplay with Clockwork. What is that?
Oh, with, that's how things all wound up.
Wait, what's it?
Are you talking about in the note about clocks, or the first sentence of the actual story?
I think he does it both, right? He does a very,
Once upon a time, when time ran by clockwork, a strange event took place in a little German town.
Yeah. The whole when time used to run by clockwork.
Yeah, it's a nice idea.
I always just kind of enjoyed that element of, there was a moment when it all actually worked. When it all made sense. Yeah. And I know, they're being literal and this is before digital clocks or, stuff. But it's this. Yeah. And the little prologue beforehand was great, too.
Yeah, he has a note about clocks that's if once you start a story winding up, it will not stop. Mm-hmm. And it just keeps going, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Yeah. It's really good. I don't really have a fault.
Me too. It's really good. Yeah. So... Henges, people should read this. I don't want to say too much anything about the last half. Right. This is one of those great treasures, because some books we read, Juliet the Wolves, which I adored, was always I should have read that. Yeah. Never heard of this book before, and just the name alone, I should probably get to some of his other canon, I guess, but not a big enough fan to immediately do that. Mm-hmm. Man, Clockwork. It's better than the Graveyard book. It's kind of better than Neil Gaiman. It's doing the kind of Neil Gaiman-y thing.
I would say it's more akin to Poe, but I think that Neil Gaiman sometimes channels that as well. Yeah, 5.
Wow.
I think 5.
I'll say 4.6. I think I do need more time to see the whole picture again. Make sure I'm sure it does. It'll play out, but 4.6 is still a tie for me for Mark Twain's books.
Mm-hmm.
So, Clockwork.
I love it.
By Philip Pullman.
Gotta read it, I guess.
It's awesome. Now, everyone, get comfortable. Take one more trip on the commute, because we're going to review Lost.
I'm sorry, take a what?
The trip on the commute. So, stay on the bus longer.
We're going to talk about Lost for a long time. We
don't
really
go to
like
work
Lost.
yet. I don't care.
We're going to talk about Lost for
Stay
a long
at the
time.
gym
That's what he
longer.
means.
You can't go to the gym.
Do more laundry. Could do weights. Asshole.
Just has to skip leg day. Oh!
Alright, let's review Lost.
It's been 6 days. We're all still waiting. Waiting for someone to come. But what if they don't? We have to stop waiting. We need to start figuring things out. A woman died this morning just going for a swim. And he tried to save her, and now you're about to crucify him? We can't do this. Every man for himself is not going to work. It's time to start organizing. We need to figure out how we're going to survive here. Now, I found water. Fresh water up in the valley. I'll take a group in at first light. If you don't want to come, then find another way to contribute. Last week, most of us were strangers. But we're all here now. And God knows how long we're going to be here. But if we can't live together, we're going to die alone.
Lost is a television show that aired on ABC. It began in 2004. It lasted for 6 seasons. It was created by J.J. Abrams and Damon Lindelof. J.J. Abrams left the show pretty early into season 1 after kind of directing the pilot and really kind of making an impact on all the characters and story. He went off to become, a major motion picture director. And Carlton Cuse became the co-showrunner. And for 6 years, you have the story of the survivors of Oceanic Flight 815 who landed on a strange island that seems to have a monster on it, polar bears, the ability to make someone who is paralyzed walk again, and more
cures
creepy
cancer.
shit. I'm talking about the pilots now.
Yeah, seriously, all that's in the pilot.
So it is a story about many, many, many things. And again, this is episode 76 of the show. We've reviewed many, many shows. I've reviewed many, many other shows that are things.
Wonderful.
Truly, with the exception of Arrested Development, and this surpasses that, I adore Lost. I've seen every episode of Lost way too many times. I've thought about Lost for way too many thoughts.
Yes, me too.
I adore Lost in such a way where I don't know how to begin this conversation because I've now had 2,000 conversations about Lost.
It's hard.
So it's almost like, what do you guys want to talk about?
Okay. You go.
Yeah. Okay. Mary Bang Kill.
Okay.
Jack, Locke,
Uh-huh.
Sawyer.
Great
jeez.
Great question.
Mary Sawyer. Bang Jack and kill Locke. Jack is not marriage material. Sawyer becomes marriage material. Also, he's damn sexy, and he never seems to lose it.
Second, same thing.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, no,
Because even though I'm not attracted to men, I'm looking at these personalities and like what you would want of a husband. think you want to bang Jack. I think you want to... You want to bang Sawyer.
We're all killing Locke, right?
No. You marry Locke.
Why?
You kill Jack.
Jack does suck.
Because, I'm sorry, we've seen Jack in domestic life, and guess what? Shit gets broken.
I feel like
We've seen Locke in domestic life, and he's really nice and needy. And we'll, pick up shit for you all the times.
Even though his legs are broke.
That's not a problem, necessarily.
He has a wheelchair. People will, help him out in the car.
Oh my god.
Good friends.
I think this was a great way to start.
But yeah.
But I always like to start the conversation about Lost. So I think I already know the answer to this, but if I'm wrong, Adam, Pedro, me, and Austin have seen all of Lost. And Lee, how much have you seen?
I've seen, they found the hatch.
Jesus Christ, Lee.
It's 13 episodes.
I feel like...
Yeah, I don't care that much.
Are you not gonna watch it?
No, I know what the end spoiler is, what the island is.
Well,
I also called
was in
it.
The sketch at the beginning of the episode.
It's true.
But, it's such a... I don't know, I called that twist. After the few episodes I've seen, I was like, oh, it's this.
So, and this is sort of what I want to talk about. So, I watched Lost live. Did we all watch Lost live? Those of us who watched it?
Watched about the second half.
The second half. Did you watch it live, Adam?
just season 6.
Just season 6.
From day one.
I watched it live from day one, and Lost was a moment. In the way, a television moment in the way I honestly think the best comparison is Game of Thrones right now. In that it was something that it was must-see TV that was, if you missed an episode, you could not go on the internet, you could not talk to your friends, you could not do anything if you were around people who liked Lost. And between seasons, endless theories abounded and everyone talked about everything. And
it's beyond that.
Yeah,
there'd be moments where the hatch door would come down and there would be a neon map. And that map was then in Entertainment Weekly the next day, people to analyze. And they had 2 or 3 different AR games to be between seasons. And this is all before social media really blew up. They had so much fan interaction in a way that the X-Files never did.
Yeah, I mean it's prestige sci-fi fantasy television before that exists. I mean, and I think, and I'll get to this because God, I have so much to say about Lost. I will try and contain myself, but Lost is a network television show. It has approximately 22 episode seasons. Then it gets down to 17, but that's the lowest they'd let them go. It has hot leading ladies and cool dudes, and sort of that's a part of it. But it looks a lot more like what we know fantasy and sci-fi TV now to look like, where you have those. I mean, people do that for Game of Thrones with the screen captures or the overanalyzing of lines and it was its own world. Because it was the first of its kind, and there's no predecessor. There are many influences, but I don't think anyone could reasonably claim a predecessor to Lost in terms of complexity of what's going on.
There was some failed imitators immediately after,
yep.
For sure. And there are occasionally when I see a show and go, man, that was definitely a Lost-like thing.
Right.
The conclusion of season 5 of Doctor Who is so Lost-like in its 2-part cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Where
that's fair.
It's a great beautiful original score music of slow motion of everyone being fucked over in a new sci-fi way that you're oh my god, how's that thing gonna happen? And honestly the leftovers, but Lindelof made that. So
yeah. I mean, what Lost, and so I recently rewatched 4, 5, and then I watched most of 6. I didn't get a chance to finish it this week. So the first 3 seasons of Lost follow a format, for those of you who haven't seen it, and then we're going to go into spoilers, I imagine, but for those of you who haven't seen it,
aside from the sketch at the beginning.
I know, right, yeah, but the first 3 seasons of Lost follow a format where every episode has an on-island story and then a flashback to one of the characters' real lives. And that's 3 22-episode seasons of there's about 14 main characters in Lost, somewhere around there. It changes a little bit season to season. Where by the time we get to the end of season 3, we have gotten at least an hour or more of pure screen time per character, just about their backstory. And then Lindelof starts his bullshit. Like, I mean, really, like, the first 3 seasons are, Wait.
Are you meaning bullshit as a bad word?
No, I don't. I mean, what I mean is
bullshit
that...
Bullshit typically uses a bad word.
That's fair. I don't mean it that way. The first 3 seasons, the mythology on the island stays pretty small, in scope. I remember my dad always really wanted Lost to be a sci-fi show, and he could, like, as in there was no, like, weird fantastical or religious element to the show, and he could, like, suspend his disbelief about until the end of season 3. And then everything goes crazy, and Lindelof starts telling this, like, really big story about the nature of good and evil. But he does it with characters that he's given us background on for 3 seasons. And so anytime he does something crazy, because dude does an entire time travel arc.
I can't wait for you to catch up with The Leftovers.
I'm sure.
You've not seen his new crazy.
Yeah, but, like, every time he does that, you're backed up by the fact that every character on screen is someone you care about deeply. Like have this, like, you've, like, laughed and cried with them and seen their most painful moments. And so, like, yeah, they're doing, you know, a weird metaphorical, like, time travel story, but, like, it's always grounded.
Well, what makes that work for me so well, I realized there was, I think, one modern show that was like Lost for one season, which was the brilliant French TV show The Returned. I couldn't finish season 2 because it just fucking dropped the ball like a fucking ton of bricks. But season 1,
really good.
That was
it's
Lost.
Really fucking good.
It was Lost in a way because
just
both
French, just very French.
Oh, it was incredibly French, but it did something very. Both shows were very brilliant because they really wanted to tell human stories first, and that's what made Flash Forward and V and all these other shows fail, is because they wanted to do just the sci-fi.
The other one that does it is Fringe. That uses the sci-fi to tell the human story.
And Fringe, I think, has a tougher balance, but once it got it right, it gets
yeah.
Wasn't Fringe the show that came on right after Lost?
No, that Fringe was a different network.
Okay.
Eli Stone, I remember, was after Lost a lot. So all my friends would hate Eli Stone because it says, coming up next on ABC, Eli Stone. Boo! Yeah. They knew Lost was ending soon.
Right.
Eli Stone, fine show. He might be a prophet. He sings a lot. The guy from Alias is in it. Anywho, the point is this. So the characters, and it was very shocking to me to rewatch the season 5 finale, because at this point now, the mythology is everywhere. We are in the middle of a time travel season where half of the cast is in the 70s pretending to be part of the hippie camp that ran the island for many years and left all of their crap around, including Polar Bear. The other half is being led by a character who was dead and now he's alive and is now leading towards Alan's god, and we don't know what's going on. This is the show. This is not the show that was at one point about where we're going to get our water, and Charlie has missions with his brother. And so this is happening, and I'm watching the show, and it's shocking because even though every scene is about accomplishing the goals within that plot, it is all done by characters who aren't interested in sci-fi.
That's so true.
These are people who are wanting to survive, and their biggest
except for Locke.
Except for Faraday.
Except for a couple.
Might not be in that episode.
No, except for a couple who are like super into it, and everyone else, every time they realize how into it Locke or Faraday are, they're like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I just want to get home. Yeah. Let's be done with this.
You're having people debate whether or not to drop a nuke on a batch of energy to blah, blah, blah. It all makes sense to me, but it doesn't need to, because all these scenes are about the characters deciding the emotional reasons why they're doing this, why this matters to them, what they're looking for out of relationships with each other and themselves, and because to me the biggest themes of the show that work for me are not the good versus evil, which to me has always been a very easy and kind of boring storyline. for any show. This one has some cool variations on it, but the idea of fate versus destiny and having them kind of argue around
Fate versus self-determination.
Yes.
Fate and
Free
destiny are the same thing.
will versus fate. Yes.
Yeah.
Apologies. You're watching this, and also because they filmed this in Hawaii, and aside from like I think 3 scenes the whole series, it's all in Hawaii, even when they're doing a billion different flashbacks.
That's really funny.
And one of them is when the character walks past Big Ben for no reason. They really wanted to prove to you they went to London. Anyway, I'll try 10 times now. Right. It is filmed like a movie. It is so gorgeously shot. It's never
scored like a movie. The music is unbelievable.
Yeah, Michael Giacchino, who before this was on the Medal of Honor video game series, who has now won an Oscar for original score, and now he's doing things like Star Wars.
He did Star Trek, right?
Star
That
Trek.
makes sense.
Aliens 2, I think.
They did some early
I think he did.
He did.
Okay.
Which also has a phenomenal soundtrack.
I mean, there's a reason that even this show aired so many years ago, and he's still doing Lost concerts for his score. And it really is like no one on the crew knew how nerdy this show was. And none of the actors are playing it like... Acting Emmys were given for this show. That's nothing that happens in genre. Terry O'Quinn and Michael Emerson won for Locke and Ben.
Both of whom deserve it and are probably the only two people who deserve it. The acting is generally not Lost's, absolute strong suit.
I think there's a ton of great performances. I can tell you ones that aren't very good. But
Yeah. I mean, Michael Emerson and Terry O'Quinn both are phenomenally good. I mean, those are some performances of a career.
I do appreciate that Matthew Fox was nominated last season.
What?
Which one is he?
Jack.
He comes and goes, and the writing for Jack comes and goes. I mean, whether he gets to be interesting.
Hero.
Yeah, but whether he gets to be interesting. Kate is always uninteresting, and Evangeline Lilly is always mediocre.
It's true. Jin and Sun are always quite strong. Saeed's always quite strong. Jorge Garcia is always quite strong as Hurley. The guy who's
awesome.
Richard is fantastic.
I love Richard.
That poor guy. I feel bad. Richard just makes me sad inside. I've just been watching season 6, and so it's very Richard's sad.
Desmond's great.
Yeah, he's great.
Dominic Monaghan as Charlie is great. Claire is not.
Right, I mean,
Juliet is great.
I mean, when you have a cast of literally, I sat down last night just because I was trying to fall asleep, and I literally just tried to see how many characters can I name from Lost. And I've just been watching it, so just off the top of my head, I'm good with character names. How many can I name? And I got to 90 before I stopped. I could name 90 characters in this show. That's insane.
You know what I just thought about right now when we're talking? You talking about season 3 right before it kind of all got super crazy? When it was on the verge of getting super crazy was when they're walking around the island to get somewhere. And you got Mikhail, the crazy
Mikhail!
Russian.
I was trying to remember his name, the crazy Russian.
With the eye patch, and he goes with the pylons and dies and comes back to life.
Everything is
He
bonkers.
dies twice and then only dies because he launches a grenade on himself.
All right, I feel we are verging into Adam, are you as much of a fan as clearly all of us are? You've been quiet.
I like it.
Okay.
Nice.
I feel like any discussion of Lost does have to talk about the finale because I feel like it is. I will lead off a discussion of the finale with this. On our first date, Austin and I talked about Lost, and he said that he liked the Lost finale and thought that people who didn't like the Lost finale were idiots. And I said, this is a man I can be with for the rest of my life. Opinions, thoughts.
I like it. It was fine. People that don't like it for the wrong reasons are idiots.
That's more what I was going for here. Anyone's allowed to dislike art. Yeah,
I know.
But if you said you hate it because it didn't answer enough questions, then I'm going to call you an idiot.
Yeah, so, I mean, for those who need a refresher, the Lost finale ends with the revelation that this is all essentially a metaphor / waypoint towards death for all the characters, and it's about sort of...
What? No,
Everyone dies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hit of closer.
Yeah, it's hard to...
So in the first 3 seasons, like Sarah said, you had flashbacks to their past lives. season 3 finale did an absolutely brilliant twist, which was like one of those I figured out mid-episode ago.
Holy shit!
This is going to be awesome. It was, which is, you're now watching Flash Forward. It's about people's lives after the island. Now you're tying together a bigger mystery. Then season 5 was time travel. So you just kind of jump around different times.
Flash
forward,
sideways.
flash back. Then season 6 was Flash Sideways, where as characters tried to change their destiny and make it so the plane never crashed, we see a world where the plane never crashed, and yet it's not exactly like that because there are many things that changed before that moment. And for a whole season, which is ambitious, to say the least.
Yeah, for real.
To not let you know what's going on for an entire season.
And it doesn't totally work. Like
there's
there's good stuff and bad stuff.
There's some nice stuff, but definitely some bumps. But ultimately, it comes down to the story of Lost is about these people who are forced into things that they didn't want a part of, and they're trying to survive. Is too like action of a word, like
endure.
Endure. They're trying to make best of their lives as fate is just a bitch to them, and that,
so true.
That includes father dying in Australia before you get to really know him or come to terms with him, or a god thinking you should on an island. These kind of things are both happening in like equal
Those are
ways in
totally
the show.
reasonable things.
Yeah, and the show has a really kind of beautiful conclusion in that the Flash Sideways is a world where fate and destiny do not prevail, and it is a world completely based on free will. As we follow all of those who were main characters in the show coming to their own acceptance in their own lives in this world and finding a place where they are finally at peace, where they can to move on to a even more mysterious place. Perhaps.
It's purgatory, guys.
Yes.
Well,
but purgatory with
Better
a
said.
bit more depth to it, because purgatory is like a punishment place, and this is a reward.
Well, and
It's
also
a find yourself.
well, and also
good or
the
bad.
show, even through the finale, is always clear that
But it's bad that they kind of wait more, because like it's kind of beautiful that,
Like
that Ben didn't think he was worthy enough to go through the doors yet.
Well, he wasn't. I thought not that he wasn't worthy enough. He just wasn't ready. He hadn't figured his own.
Yeah, he can. This is a place
situation
where
out yet.
time doesn't matter. People who died yesterday, as opposed to 1,000 years from now, are all in the same place. Kind of. It's more they created for themselves.
yeah.
Because they imply that Hurley has died many years later.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be beautiful. Also in the finale, Jack jumps up and punches Locke in the face like Superman.
Which is super fun.
I don't know why you would not like the finale.
That's an amazing shot.
I mean,
And also the greatest Matthew Fox line reading ever, which is Locke, I'm going to kill you. How you do that? It's a secret. As he turns away first.
I will say this, like, one of the reasons that Lost is great. So I think a lot about Lost, and Lost was also one of the worst examples of, like, just at the beginning of social media, like, fanboy critic shit. Like, a lot of just, like,
Bunch of assholes with a mic thinking they know what they're talking about.
a lot of people were shitting on the show every week while Lindelof was legitimately trying to, like, make something cool, and
They still watched it.
There was a lot of that. A lot of, like, is this the episode where Lost went off the deep end? And it's like, everyone's still fucking watching. Shut the fuck up. But one of the things that makes Lost rise above other shows that have this deep mythology, like I would say Game of Thrones, which I don't think has this, Lost has a definite sense of humor about itself. It knows exactly how ridiculous it is. It is when it is ridiculous. I mean, and I think season 5 is, I just rewatched season 5 and it is so good. I mean, they decided to do a time travel story. There's an entire episode where Hurley and Miles, the silliest characters in the series, sit in a van and bitch about time travel and Star Wars. It's lovely, it's sort of winky without being stupid. And it saves the show from, like a lesser writer would have written something that was deathly serious, never funny. It's not like that. It's very human.
Well, there is a severely underrated episode of Lost called
No
Expose,
one likes that episode but you. It's bad.
Expose, where Lost decided to do a parody of itself in the middle of an exciting story. Where,
Yeah, fuck that.
Where the biggest complaint they had early on in the show, before things got insane, was that, why don't we learn about any of the other characters? They're like, 80 survivors. We just kind of followed 10. And they go, okay, we got these characters we've seen before, Nikki and Paulo. And so they kind of joined on adventures, and they're the worst. And everyone hated them, so they decided to take their story for them and condense it all into one episode, which was a great parody, where you follow them and realize that they are the worst.
Yeah.
In fact, the episode begins with, one of them dead, and they go run to Sawyer and go, quick, Nikki died. And he goes, who's Nikki? And the credits begin.
It's true. The self-referential stuff in expose is really good.
And you follow them, and you realize that they have solved every Lost mystery before the rest of the cast, but they all are focused on the diamonds they stole. They just kind of keep hiding the diamonds. Their backstory is about how they are assholes who stole diamonds, but she is an actress on an Alias-like TV show starring Billy D. Williams. So Billy D. Williams plays himself. It's just a really silly episode, and these two awful characters end with the worst death I've seen on TV ever, which is...
yeah, it's rough.
They get Medusa's spider bites, so they kind of, freeze and looks like they're dead.
Yeah, you get buried alive, covered in diamonds.
And they bury him alive.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Him or her?
Both.
Both of them.
Both of them?
Yeah, they do a callback in one of the season 6 episodes I recently watched, where someone offers Miles money. Miles, who speaks to dead people, and he said, why would I want your money when there's 2 people buried here covered in diamonds? Anyway,
show's great.
Yeah, I just, look, I think that it's possible to have missed your moment on Lost and feel like, especially if you've been spoiled on a lot of stuff, there is definitely some of the luster can be taken out of it. It's fun to discover things as they go.
But there's so many things.
But it's so good.
There's just so many things.
There's also a lot of it, which I think deters a lot of people who didn't see it live. It's just damn, because the seasons are long. It's
sure.
But watch it. It's worth it.
Because even watching something again with you, there's so many mysteries that...
Yeah, we had forgotten things. We were wait, who is that?
All my Lost trivia was replaced by Doctor Who trivia. So wait, Ben is a man on the boat. Who's the man on the boat? Then of course realize it was. It's great. It's so even if you know that there's some time travel shit, some god shit going on in the island, there's so much. And also, it's beautiful. It's about really human stories.
Yeah.
Sarah and I talked a lot. Do you guys want to say anything more about Lost?
No, I think we were all expecting this to happen.
Yeah.
That's fair. Guys, it's really good, and we have a lot of feelings, and we've been talking about it all week, and we have a lot of feelings.
Yeah. I think my only thing is that I think that being on a network show kind of really hurt it. Because
it did.
They were required to make a certain amount of episodes.
Help the budget, though.
There are definitely...
Sure.
That's
Talk
true.
about that first episode in the budget.
Oh, you want the crazy story?
Yeah, that's a good story.
So there is, if you're a fan of Lost and you kind of recognize who the crew is, there's always one guy in the credits. You go, who the hell is Jeffrey Lieber? Jeffrey Lieber is the guy who went rogue, because every year ABC, like a lot of networks do, they kind of have a retreat with kind of all their executives, as they kind of pitch ideas and kind of oh, we can get a writer to this and yada yada. And he basically pitched the idea of Survivor, the TV show. Survivor is a TV show, more like
Survivor, the scripted TV
people
show.
crash on an island, and here we go, Lord of the Flies, yada yada. So they had J.J. Abrams under contract, and they go, hey, let's develop a show for us, Survivor, the TV show, what do you think? And J.J. Abrams goes, I like it, I'm too busy right now, but if you get a good writing partner for me, I'll do it. Damon Lindelof was this guy who wrote for Nash Bridges and a couple other things. And he quickly bluffed that he had a one-act play about time travel, and then he wrote it that weekend for his agent.
Beautiful.
Which they've now made with Chris Hemsworth. This charming little thing. Definitely written in a weekend. And who was the same? Right. Lindelof went on to it, and he and Abrams had the same idea simultaneously, which was the island needs to be a character.
Cool.
It can't just be people on an island. There's something kind of weird going on here. The island needs to be a character on its own. It's just some weird shit. So they wrote this pilot, kind of definitely hey, let's go crazy. Here we have everything. We're going to have this awesome cast of characters. They were tempted to kill off Jack in the pilot, just to kind of kill off their...
They actually test screened some with Jack dying in the pilot, and it was really poorly received.
I think it's still the script phase.
Maybe still in the script phase, but I know they definitely ran it by humans. And they were like, no.
The rumor was Michael Keaton was going to play him, and they wanted to kill off Michael Keaton in the first episode. Yeah, but see, this awesome ensemble, you got rich characters like, it's 2004. You have a plane crash show with a member of the Republic Guard. In it.
It's true.
You have Korean characters who are only speaking Korean for most of the show, and subtitles in 2004. All this kind of stuff. And Jeffrey Lieber, who did not plan for this to at all be a sci-fi crazy show, still gets kind of co-credit on this.
Right.
And then he's about to get fired from ABC. And his last week at ABC, he signs off an $11 million pilot, which was never the highest paid pilot of all time, and then left.
Nice.
So they used that money to buy an actual plane. So that is an actual plane that they cut in half and put on a beach.
Honestly, the pilot's worth watching like a movie. Like, it's really good.
It's J.J. Abrams. There's a reason why he directed Star Wars.
Yeah, it's one of his first, like, great things.
And, so it is accidentally one of those expensive pilots ever made because one guy went rogue, and his name is still on every episode.
Beautiful.
Not a tribute, because it's how writing
works.
guilds work.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh, and also, a little fun fact, one of the pieces of the plane was used as a drum for Michael Giacchino in kind of the first
Oh, cool.
bit of scoring of to make a weird jungle noise.
Cool. Huh. I have so many
lots
more
of
things to
Oscar
say, but let's henge
Yeah.
because we could do a whole episode like this.
So, Anna Lucia is a bad character. Season 2 meanders quite a bit. The answer for the Whispers is really bad. There is a bit of unfulfilling things in some Flash Sideways. That said, 5. I love the show too much to pretend otherwise.
I really love this show. Those things bother me more. 4.7.
I gave Jack Bauer a 5, so I kind of have to give this one a 5 as well. I was thinking of giving it a 4.9, but it can't. 5.
Okay.
You almost gave it a 4.9. You gave it a 4.7. 4, 8, 15, 16.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just to be clear, I'm going to give it a 4.8 because I'm a Lost fan.
There we go.
I'm gonna say 4.7.
All right.
No one listens to me.
So would the next one be 1.5? I don't get your logic.
In theory.
Yeah, I didn't
Well,
understand.
Lee hasn't gone yet.
Yeah, Lee, what do you think?
I mean, I've only seen the first season, and that was when it was airing, so...
I feel like you shouldn't rank then, actually. Like,
Yeah,
I gotta say, like, it's not in a bad way, but yeah, it's
It's fine if you've seen that much. You kind of get to see it, like, recently.
it's a whole thing. Like, it's like a whole, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Watch it, guys.
Lost.
If you haven't done it, if you weren't there for it, it's worth your time, for real.
Because, yeah, I mean, I think it really is almost like one of the most underappreciated big prestige shows because, like, everyone knows that Mad Men and Breaking Bad are, like,
But this was before that. I mean, this was I mean, this was.
I feel like it
one.
picked up a lot of credit though after Netflix became a thing because Netflix picked up the entire season.
Oh,
A lot of
caught up.
friends that
everyone caught up.
couldn't watch
but
it live.
It's
like,
on Netflix. Just go watch it.
It's weird to kind of go back because even when things are less than perfect, the show's fucking gorgeous. It's every episode's well shot. Anyway, Lost. You guys notice I always say it in all capital letters?
Yeah.
It's the right thing to do. Anywho, that's episode 76.
Yeah.
Woo!
We went long, but honestly, this is way shorter than it could have been.
Oh, guys, you don't even understand.
Don't even know.
Let's add Lost to one of our lists of standalone episodes that we're gonna definitely do someday.
I would sit and talk about Lost with you guys for like hours.
I do that.
We could do that right now. We could just turn off the mic and do that.
We could get me a chair.
Pedro, give him your chair. Give him your goddamn chair.
Oh,
So,
real soon.
You guys have told me a little bit about your adventures in the 80s last week. And you guys told me that, like...
You were very naked.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was weird.
Okay.
Oh, fine,
Focus
but, you
on
know.
the now. And you guys... This is what kind of threw me off a little bit. You guys reviewed the stuff we were going to review last week.
Mm-hmm.
We randomly picked that number.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Are the numbers we randomly pick still the same order that we would have done it in the past?
I don't know.
This is a very Lost question.
At
I'm
one
saying,
point, we were reading numbers off of walls, and then I guess randomly picking them. Although I don't know how.
So I'm
This
saying,
is
like,
very, very, yeah.
Bethany can wipe our minds, so I can only
It's-
assume she can incept numbers into them.
Ron.
So I'm saying, what number should we do next week?
Why don't we have someone tell us?
Why don't we do some lost numbers?
8?
Okay.
What about...
I don't want to review like the Lone Ranger again.
42.
Okay, there we go. 842.
Perfect.
All right, everyone, look up your big heavy books that you brought with you.
It's our phones. 'Cause
Still
we're
on the
reasonable.
phone.
Hey, the food was really easy to find because I have my phone and I can just look it up immediately. San Francisco sourdough. Delicious.
Okay.
The song. Oh, Beck. Devil's Haircut.
Oh, I love Beck.
Yeah. I think. I don't know.
We are doing another Best Picture winner. We are going to review Unforgiven.
Sweet.
Another Western.
I love it. Done right this time, though. It has Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
That means it's a correct Western.
He's not perfect on the Westerns.
No, he's not.
Lee, what's the album?
The album is Vanishing Point by Primal Scream.
And the children's book is The K by Theodore Taylor.
Is there a TV show?
Yes, the TV show is Borgen, which is a Danish political show. If you guys don't give yourselves the day, I'm just going to watch this all week.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'll watch it with you.
Oh, boy.
Sounds fun.
Anywho, so that's what we're going to review next week. Yeah. Until then, you can email us at theimmortals@theartofmortal.com. Follow us on Twitter at theimmortalspod. YouTube, things keep uploading automatically. I'll fix the description soon. Also, you can check out the other podcasts on the network. You can check out Let's Take 5, where we are almost done with our superhero 5, and tomorrow's review is about the film Logan, the last Wolverine film. And this one, just like every episode, is full of spoilers. This one is still playing in theaters somewhere, so if you've not seen Logan, do not listen to the episode yet.
Go see it, yeah.
Wait for DVD, then listen to the episode. But
We'll wait.
it's a 2017 movie, so watch out for that one. Ad Absurdum is taking a month off.
Sorry,
because
guys. We'll be back next month.
War Games is just that deep of a movie. They
Yeah,
have to
that's
really,
definitely what it is.
Really analyze War Games.
Yup.
But you can have a bonus review out sometime.
Yes, that is the hope.
Cool. Yeah. I thought of another idea.
Oh, no.
You guys told me that the intern dude, he gave you a number in the 80s, right?
That he did?
But he also, asked for the cassette tapes.
Yep.
That means those cassette tapes are actually probably somewhere around here.
Probably.
In
I mean-
fact, I think I got an idea.
Oh, no.
I bet it's in one of the rooms we've already visited. Come back next week to see if I'm right. Also, let's
I don't
see if
think you're
we
right.
find a wheelchair.
I think you're wrong.
Because also, see if we find some legs.
Some legs?
Well, if you get a wheelchair, I'm not getting out of this chair.
Jesus.
Oh, boy. All right.
Anywho, until next week, I'm Austin.
I'm Adam.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Lee.
I'm Pedro.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.